Okay, good day viewers, and today or here speaking to you is Kumbuzo Gabeni, and today I'm here with Miss as she will be able to introduce herself, and we're about to do or to give for her to give an interview about Bantu Education, which was an act or a law which was formed in 1953. So Miss, the first question is that can you at least firstly tell me about yourself or introduce yourself? Tell me your name, your surname, your age, and where you come from.
Okay, my name is Khadija Mukweli. I am 70 years of age. I was born in that 1953 when the Bantu Education law was endorsed, right?
Okay.
And I grew up in Valmansdal near Pretoria.
Okay.
It's just semi-rural area.
Uh, so,
Mm.
so you, I think I was lucky to find you because you were actually born the same year as the act was formed. Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, that's actually nice to know.
Mm.
So Miss, the second question that I'd like to ask you is like, can you tell me what you really understand when they say Bantu education, or tell me what you understand about Bantu education?
That was a segregation law in terms of education, meaning whites one side, blacks one side, Indians one side, colored one side. But the Bantu education was and so inferior to what they give to the other people.
Okay.
And every sector, whites, they've got their own policy, blacks, their own policy.
Okay.
Mm.
Okay, so I think as I was also doing my research, I found that the law was basically what we called racial segregation.
Mm.
And if viewers don't know what is racial segregation, I'm basically saying that nine white people, and let's just say in general, nine white people, which involves black, Indians, and colors, were restricted to go to certain institutions such as schools or university and colleges, right?
Yeah.
So which means it was part of the governmental or part of the apartheid governmental system, but on the educational side. So that's what I'm saying.
Mm-mm.
So which means my research were correct.
Yeah.
Okay. The next question I'll ask you is that how many years were you when you knew about Bantu education, or how many years were you when you get to know what is Bantu education?
Maybe when I was doing, by the way, the system is not the same as yours, like grade 1, grade 2.
Okay.
Maybe it started with sub A, sub B. I was still like not seeing anything.
Okay.
Once it goes up,
But you can.
Don't forget, I grew up under my grandmother and grandfather.
Okay.
They talk. We knew. When I like studied one from sub A, sub B, studied one, we knew the system,
Okay.
about the system.
So basically, let's just say you knew the system when you're still very young.
Very young.
So you grew up knowing that we have a certain law and you'll be able to follow the
Don't do
police.
this, yeah.
Okay. But I think it's
because of apartheid. But when I was in high school, I even knew the reason why it was called Bantu Education.
Okay. So I was also doing my research, and I believe at that time the government used to call black South Africans as the word Bantu. They used the word Bantu to say black. Okay. I also found in my research that the law was later changed to black education, right, in the same year of 1953. But they still kept the original name throughout the years.
Yeah, they said black. They were ashamed by that time they changed to black because the whole world was against them.
Because the Bantu education did not only apply to black but also to Indians and colors.
Yeah.
So there was a little of racism.
Mm.
You understand? And also
even the sanctions made it for them to change with shame, bit by bit.
Which also infuriated black people, I believe.
Yeah, a lot.
Okay, that's good to know. And you also mentioned something about the education being different. Like now we have grade 1, grade 2, grade 3. Whereas while ago we had just mentioned subs A, and so just so just shows that there's
And
been
a longer time in primary school,
okay.
up to 26.
So which emphasizes that there's a huge difference between the educational system of now and long
A
ago.
huge difference, because once you reach 26, you write exam, you must get a certificate. Ask me why.
Why?
Because they wanted you to go and work.
Okay.
They didn't want you to be more educated than like them.
Okay. I also found when I was doing my research that non-white people under the Bantu Education, their curriculum was that they were only gonna teach them on doing jobs such as manual jobs or manual labor.
Jobs, yeah. They didn't want you to do these other unskilled jobs.
Okay.
You cannot be an admin. You cannot. Who, in which country are you going to admin? Them whites? Administrate? Never.
So there was a lot of, I don't know, so which means the racial problems just continue to extend furthermore.
It's much better now. Yeah. When it comes to profession, it's much better. It's much better because at that time, most of the people didn't go to school up to that's 26 because of corporal punishment.
I understand.
We were beaten every day. We were beaten, not a little bit, and you can't complain.
So it just shows that the system was very unfair.
Yeah, it was so unfair. So some of us, we continued to what you don't have. You continue with grades. After 26, it's Form 1, Form 2, Form 3. Form 3 must have a certificate also. You must go and work. What will you do with Form 3? You don't even know English so well. You can't speak like you at that time. You speak a broken English because it was a cheap English that they were teaching us. Very cheap. But it came to that things improved. Even if we went to work, when things improved, we went back to school and do the matric.
That's actually good. That's very, very good.
Some of us, we went back to school. We wear gym dress again.
I think that's something we should also emphasize regarding the youth of today.
Yeah, we wear gym dress again because we said, what I like about things like ANC, it's been encouraging people to study.
That's very, very good.
Even if they give you that inferior education, study. And you couldn't go right if you didn't read. You know, reading helps a lot.
Yeah, I know.
If you read books, you improve your brain.
Yeah, I understand because that's something I actually do and it does help a lot.
We used to read a lot, books. You go into the bus, you sit down, you open a book, you read.
That's a funny thing because regarding one of my questions, you've actually answered some of my questions.
Yeah.
So we just shows that
is how you know, when you ask about apartheid, we can talk the whole night.
Yeah, I see.
Yeah.
But regarding the time and also the picture of the phone, I think we must just keep it short.
Okay, I'll try to do that.
Yeah, I can see that you have a lot that you need to tell me about. Yeah. I actually appreciate the information you're giving me because it actually tries to give me more knowledge on the kind of different things that we have and the ones that we had long ago. Okay, so the next question that I'll ask you is that according to your perspective or your own point of view, do you think that Bantu education was something that was good or bad, or between those two perspectives, which one do you think was it?
It was good, it was bad, because we were seeing what's going on and we thought to ourselves, they lie, we're gonna push on. Yeah,
that was the energy.
Yeah, they lie. We can see this is inferior. but we're gonna continue with it.
That's a very, very good mindset to have.
The other thing is that from which family were you? If you are from the family that were educated, will you stay behind? No, you won't. My mother was a matron. My granny was a teacher. My grandpa was a police. So you have to push, and there's no way that I'm no more going to school. They were very strict.
That's very, very good.
Mm.
Okay, regarding or considering your background, I think like you had that mindset of always trying to push forward no matter how the educational system was.
Yeah.
So for you, the educational system just actually inspired or pressured you to just do more.
Yeah, to do more. Most of the people, it happened like that.
So which was an advantage basically
Yeah.
regarding the system.
Because how many doctors did we have that time? They will never give you that position. You will never qualify as a black man. They calculate will take only this year 1 or 2 doctors to qualify.
I see. So also, I was coming to my next question, which talks about advantages and disadvantages, but I think you've already covered that regarding your previous answer. Yeah, because you were telling me saying that regarding the educational system here in Longako Bantu, you used to get like corporal punishment, which was very, very hard for you. You had limited educational opportunities and career opportunities. Those were some of the disadvantages that you had. Right?
Yeah, the other disadvantage is that the white school, they got more resources. Black school, less resources.
That is why we're saying whites had unlimited access to schools or education, right? Everything.
Yeah.
Then rather than non-white, which had lack of
resources like the school. They had more schools and there were few. We had less schools, overcrowded classrooms, and we are black. In the township, we were segregated. But in the school, we went to the same school. Zulu, Tonga, and like Kuvalman, there was no Tswana, was Pedi. In one school, overcrowded.
It's a lot of kids.
Yeah, overcrowded. And there's nothing like, we have, there was no math, it was arithmetic. There's no arithmetic teacher, there's no this subject teacher. We were, one teacher is responsible for that class for all the subjects.
That was I can feel the pain because even us as learners we like do like up to 9 subjects as a learner. And they expect you to study all so it becomes very difficult for them.
So that teacher must teach us all of them and hit us at the same time.
That's painful. Okay, I was also doing my research. I found like researching for the advantages and disadvantages. Like as I've mentioned the disadvantages, I found that the only advantage that Bantu Education had was that it now allowed or gave non-white learners a platform to go to school. Or it had now allowed non-white learners to go to school, which I think
you get bursaries if you are poor. You get what is it, NAPSAS, and there was no such a thing. There was not even a crash.
But at least the advantage is that you were now able to go to school. That's the advantage. Okay, as I go on to, I think this might be the before last question. So do you think like it was a good idea for Bantu Education to be formed or to come to life, or do you think it was a bad idea for the act to be actually formed?
It was a bad idea. Why should they segregate us in our own motherland? It was a bad idea.
So it actually increased the racial problems which are already existing. Because I also found when I was researching.
But mind you, not every white was a racist.
Okay.
The system pushed them to be on that.
Because we also like in school we're doing what do you call also the things that were happening at apartheid, and also mentions people who are white were actually helping in order for the apartheid system to come to an end. So this thing of white people, like there were no other white people who were being racist. I fully understand the term.
Okay.
So you think that the law or the act wasn't supposed to be formed because it only just increased racial problems?
Yeah, exactly.
I understand. So as I move on to my last question, can you tell me the difference that you see from the educational system we have now and the educational system that we had long ago, or the one that you had at your generation?
The difference.
Yeah, the difference that you can see.
Yeah, the difference is that I don't know, our children, even at the age of 5, they are aware of everything. We were not. We could only see up to here at that age. So the system is so good now. Although some of the things, like there's no corporal punishment, you can see these children, you cannot control them now. You cannot, even on the street, they have no respect for older people. They just talk nonsense in front of older people. They just smoke in front of you, the drugs and everything. So it was good when it started because people became free. But I must say thank you to Bantu Education.
I think so. Because as I was doing my research, as I was writing my research, I also emphasized the point that us as the generation of now must try to appreciate the chance that we've been given. Because this kind of educational system we have now, we didn't they didn't have it. Our ancestors.
Yeah.
They
must really say thank you to Bantu Education because in 1976, when my son was born, it was about 3 or 4 years, they introduced that all the subjects must be done in Afrikaans.
In 1976, which was the one that caused the Soweto uprising.
It started by the Soweto because we complained. Landbouw. We were doing agriculture, suddenly they said it must be landbouw. It started with us.
And I also think one of the disadvantages that makes learners to be taught in Afrikaans, because since in South Africa we have different cultures and languages, it is very important for us or for them to try to teach those children with their native languages or their own language, so that they can be able to understand.
Come to history. What type of history were they teaching us? They were pushing us to know all the Jan van Riebeecks. We don't even know them even today because,
because of the language that they used.
Yeah, besides the language, why should we learn about Jan van Riebeeck? This is our country, this is our motherland.
Instead, we should be learning maybe about the Khoisans and
the Kukuni and all that.
Yes, the indigenous people that come from South Africa.
They didn't. Like Islam says.
I understand.
Yeah, Islam says they came. They found you. You were having your own resources. They came with a knife because it was cutting very fast. They said, leave that one. Take a knife. They came. They gave you a mirror. Stop looking into the water. Here's the first thing. You move with it. You'll see yourself. In return, they took the land. After that, they oppressed us from our land.
For me, I think one of the reasons why this took place and we're able not to handle the situations, because remember indigenous people of this country, they didn't have any knowledge, you see, because what they knew or what they were trying to understand.
Knowledge. Why do you say they didn't have knowledge? They knew how to live. They've been living all the years. They have all the technique of living, even of treating disease, and they didn't have these diseases that we were treating, the cancers and all, because they were eating the right food.
Yes, I understand that. What I'm trying to emphasize is that indigenous people of this country, they didn't know this will actually take place for white people
to do
they
what trusted them so much.
Because I believe that is what I like about black people, is that they have this what's called Ubuntu. So they try to open up to them and be able to accept them, in which in different countries it's impossible.
They try to have Ubuntu even
Yes.
today, even among ourselves. Ubuntu, you'll hate yourself.
But white people, they just took it lightly and
Yeah, but that was the last question.
yes, I think
At
that
the
was the
end,
last question.
you people must thank apartheid. Those people who passed through apartheid, you are what you are because of them.
Apartheid.
I always tell my children when they say, when you speak English, you must try to make your mouth O. I said, that O of yours, that is my school fees. I paid for you to do that O. Me, I did Bantu education. I will stay talking like a Bantu education student. Continue with your O. I must make O when you speak. I'm not going to learn O today.
Yeah, that's something we should emphasize. And I also like in
so
our
we are paying
yeah,
for you guys. We struggled.
I think also in
That
our
was not
schools
easy.
when they teach us history in our schools, I think they should focus more on teaching us the history of this country of apartheid, rather than teaching us by other countries.
I thought they were teaching you that.
They are currently we are now doing apartheid, right?
Like,
but since I've ever started school, when they taught us this, they
Mm.
taught us what you call history. They were teaching us mostly on the history that doesn't have to do anything with apartheid, right? Things like World War One, World War Two, things in Germany and Japan. So it doesn't relate to the things that we need to know.
That's how I never went for. I finished my history in Form 3 and got a certificate that is full in their house, it's not working. In matric, I just switched to physics and maths and forgot about the histories and what. So anyway, geography was compulsory. But history, they went to their classes. Me and my sister, we were going to the physics and maths class. We never. Not this, what do you call literate?
Maths literacy.
Maths literacy.
Pure
What
maths,
is that? We did maths, pure maths. We did physics. And after that I could go into radiography. You couldn't go into radiography during apartheid, but it was still apartheid when I go into radiography, but it was after the sanctions and all that, things were much better. You can go into. There was radiography that was done for 1 year. They call it supplementary. You are an assistant radiographer. I am the second group of people who did the correct radiography. 3-year course.
That's so.
Stop.
It says a little bit. Okay, continue.
So things became much better. We experienced apartheid and the changes after apartheid.
Yeah, I think
so. I'm doubled. That was tough. You couldn't even sit in the restaurant and eat. You always buy through the window.
I think like the youth of today need to appreciate and be grateful for their ancestors and what they did for them.
Yeah, they must really thank us for what they are passing through now, better education, whatever. They go to private school. It was only public school and missionary school during our time.
Because I also
there
think
was no public school.
Yeah, because I also think if it
private
wasn't
school.
for the Soweto uprising, maybe now we will still be taught by using
Africans.
Afrikaans.
Africans that will end up here at the borders. Once you cross, it depends where you're going. If you go to Saudi, you forget about this English. What about Africans? It's Arabic, pure Arabic. You go to France, they will hate you when you speak English. Yeah, even the English, they don't want it. So some people said English is international. It is not. It's only Britain and America and some New Zealand where you can be free to communicate with them with English. What about Africans? What about Africans? And they get annoyed in Netherlands when you come and speak that broken Afrikaans, because they speak their pure Dutch. Now you broke their Dutch. They become annoyed. They went to the conference, they posed there, our head. They were so disappointed. They said those people are so nasty to us. He said because you speak broken in dates. It's not pure.
Yeah, but I think we can also like sympathize for them because even like you are Tswana, right? If there was a person
I'm
coming
not
from
Tswana.
yeah.
The children are Tswanas. I'm Pedi.
Oh, I see. Oh, so you come from Limpopo.
Yeah,
Oh,
originally
I see.
Limpopo.
That's good to know. I didn't
Yeah,
know.
no. My grandparents are from Limpopo.
Okay. So
My mother was born in Pretoria. I
oh,
was born in Pretoria also.
okay. So I think like okay, let me make an example. It's the same as when a person coming from America then tries to speak Pedi. Obviously, it's not going to be very good Pedi.
But
And
people
for you
become
as a
annoyed.
person, you're gonna get annoyed or offended
Yeah.
sometimes. So it's the same situation regarding Africans.
Africans is something, it's so simple. All the undereducated in the township, they call it Zosital. The Pratt Africans. They didn't go to school. You go to Pretoria, then the Beles, they speak Africans fluently because they were working under the boss all the time. That's why they speak Afrikaans, even if they didn't go to school at all.
Because they lived with Afrikaners.
Part of it.
Okay, hey, that's good. And I think for now we can be done for the interview because for the limited time that we have. But I really appreciate for the information that
It
you
will
gave
help.
me.
I wish it helps you, no?
Yeah, I think yeah, it was very good information because I think it's also information that should be brought out to the youth.
Yeah, but you people, you should thank us.
Yeah,
That's
for
our
me,
money. That's Bantu Education money that educates you.
For me, I actually like really wanna thank you for because it has changed a lot for us. I really wanna thank you.
We suffered for you, and we said never again our children will suffer like this.
Yes.
But look what's happening on the street. They don't respect us.
I also want to thank to the teacher who gave us this project because I think if it wasn't for this research, I don't think I would have got all this kind of information. So I'll really like to thank the teacher. So Ma'am Kalen, thank you for the project. So yeah, thank you for the interview.
So can we stop?
Yeah.
Before we work?
That was 27 minutes.